Okay, cool. So this is an assessment on JavaScript classes and objects. We're going to start with a little bit of a test. So what I want to do now is I want to create a class called car. All right, it's a class of cars. All right, and this class needs to have the attributes brand and the year of the car. Right, the year that the car was released. Tyler, how would I go about doing that?
Well, you'd first say class car,
Class car like this.
yeah, and then you open the curly brackets,
Hmm?
the curly ones,
Early ones. Okay.
and then you will put a constructor in them,
Constructor
yeah,
like this. Yeah.
yeah, and then in the constructor parameters you'll put brand.
Brand.
What was the second one? It's the yeah. You can also put the
The
year,
year. Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
then open the curly brackets,
Right.
and then you will say this dot brand is equals to brand.
This dot brand equals brand like this.
Yes, and this dot year equals to year. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Is this all we need?
Yeah. So far.
Okay. Luke, do you agree with the way we've created our class?
If you don't mind, could you please repeat the question because I kind of lost. I couldn't hear what the question was.
Okay, cool. So the question was, we want to create a class called car, and this car needs to have two attributes, brand and year, right? So Tayelo has created our class as follows, the way it's specified on the screen. Oops, let's not do that. Yeah. Right, so the way it is on the screen right now, do you agree with the way that we've created this class now?
Yeah, I do.
Cool. Okay, so correct. Although one small thing here, right, is the naming conventions.
Oh yeah,
in,
yeah.
JavaScript, right?
Yeah,
Thank you.
This needs to be capital, right? That's the only thing, right?
Yeah.
Just for future reference, right? Okay, so Luke,
Yep.
how do we instantiate this class now?
So we could create a variable called just call it car for now.
Call it car for now. Okay, so how would we create that variable?
So you could say let car equal you would use a new keyword and then
Mhm.
new car using the class name, the class's name.
The class's name on top, so like this,
Yeah.
right?
And then in the bracket, we could pass in some value. So we could pass in a value for brand and just call it BMW for now as a string.
Mhm.
And for the year, it should pass in the number 2012.
Number
2012. Yeah. For the year.
12.
Or
Okay,
2012.
now let's do a 2012 model, right? Okay, Luke, is there any chance you could maybe increase your volume slightly for your mic? It's coming through a little bit
Oh,
muffled.
is it
I can
little?
hear. Yeah, I can hear,
And
but
now?
it's a little better. It's a little better.
Okay, I'll just keep the mic as close to my mouth as possible. Is this better?
Okay. Yeah, slightly better. Okay, but yeah, no, that it should be fine. We can actually hear you.
Okay,
Okay.
cool.
Taelo, do you agree with this? So if I were to console.log car now, right? Taelo, what would print out to the console?
It would print out the class car with as an object with friend as BMW and year as 2012. Yeah.
Cool. Like that, right?
Yeah.
It prints out car, which is the class name, and then the instance of that class, right?
Yes.
That's what you get.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Okay, so now, Taelo, I want to create another car and I want it to be an Audi, right? How would I go about doing that?
Well, on line 9, you can say let car 1 or car 2
Car 1
is equals to new car.
equals new car, like that, yeah?
Yeah. And then for the first argument, you would put Audi.
Audi?
And then for the second parameter, we can put a year. Maybe let's say 2015.
15.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then if I log console.log so look, oh whoops, it's not what's supposed to be there. Look, if I were to console.log car1 now, what would it output?
So it would be very much alike to the previous output statement. So it will print out the car class name and then an object with two properties, brand in here, and the values will now be Audi and 2050.
Cool. So like that, right?
Yeah.
So that takes care of classes and instantiation. Right.
Yeah.
So now we have something like this. Baby in the background is not happy. Okay. So if I were to do this, right? Diallo, what would print out to the console? Or what would be the output?
Well, in the console, it won't show anything since you are not consoling.log. But the car1.present will have the value of this is a Audi.
Okay. So if I were to do this, for example, what would then print out, Luke?
It would print out this is a Audi. Yeah.
This is a Audi. Do you agree, Tyler?
Yes, I agree.
Okay, so this is a Audi, an Audi. Oh, okay, a Audi. It's fine. English. Okay, cool. That's perfectly fine. All right. So now what I want to do, right, is I want to take this out. And look, what I want to do now is I want to create a subclass of this car class called model, right? And it should take in,
Called model.
yeah, model,
Mhm.
right? And it should take in, right, a new parameter, right? And this new parameter just needs to be model, like
Mhm.
just a parameter called model, right? How would I go about doing that?
Okay,
But it
so
also needs to
you
take
would
in the brand or the
um,
year. I need to mention that as well. It also needs to take in the brand and the year, right, and accept that. But
okay,
in addition to that, it needs to take in the model as well.
okay. So we would then use the class keyword again. So it's a
Mhm.
class extends, class model
Class model
extends car,
and car.
the car
So the
class, yeah.
class car, yeah.
Yeah. And then
Okay.
we're gonna open the curly brackets. And then to access the parameters from the car class, we use the super keyword.
Mm-hmm.
So we would say super,
So like that.
yeah, and then parentheses,
Mm-hmm.
and then we, and then shucks, I struggle to remember this next part. How,
Okay, so let's start with something simple, right? Let's get
okay.
the new parameter in first, right? The new parameter called model, right? So we just need
Okay.
something here called model, right? Let's start with that first. How would we
Okay.
get model into
Okay.
this
So
class?
then, so we would declare a constructor again. So, yeah,
Like this?
constructor, and then take in parentheses,
Yeah,
and then we're gonna pass in model,
model, yeah.
and then the curly brackets.
Open our
After that,
constructor, yeah.
yeah, and then this dot model would equal the parameter, so model.
Equals model, right? Okay, so that takes care of our model, right?
Yes.
Cool. So now we have this
Yeah.
dangling super over here.
Yeah. I kind of forgot how to do this.
Okay,
I think
Tayelo,
it's
do you wanna jump in? Maybe give a little bit of a hint.
Yeah. We still need the parameters from the chop. So
These two.
yeah, we
Okay,
will
where do we
include
put
those
those?
in our constructor.
In your constructor.
Yeah.
So as parameters.
Yeah.
Okay, so like this. Brand and year, like this.
Yeah. And then this super will be inside the constructor.
Okay, cool. You can stop there. Luke. So Tayero says that the parameters still need to be here as part of the constructor over here, right? And he wants the super keyword or some super keyword right, to be inside the constructor. Does that does it refresh your memory a little bit?
Um, Not really, no. To be totally honest, the
Cool.
code, is this not then, um, we obviously have the model class extends car, and then we are defining another constructor which takes in model and as well as the parameters from the class and constructor.
Hmm.
Um, okay, so within the parentheses for the super keyword, do we not then um, pass in the uh, the parameters from from the car constructor, so Brandon, yeah,
So you want it to be
into the
like this.
okay, no, I feel like that doesn't make sense.
So you want it to be like that.
Yeah, and then obviously no, um, no, I see how this does not make sense.
It doesn't make sense to you.
Hmm.
Tyler, does this make sense to you?
Yeah, I think it does because since well, behind the super function, I think it actually um it assigns these arguments which it finds in its parameters to the main function, the parent
Hmm.
function. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay. So let's do this here, right? I'm gonna okay. Let's just do this, right? So we're gonna let a new car model equals a new model, right? And we want it to take in a model. Let's say it is an okay. So first and foremost, right? This works. It is actually correct. Luke, by the way, it is the correct way of how to do
Okay.
it. But Tyler, can you see what's actually gonna cause us a little bit of anxiety with the way we've defined this constructor?
Yeah. If we have to like put in the arguments in the instantiation in the
Hmm.
instance, then
Yeah,
we have to begin with the model first before the brand in the air.
before the brand and the year. That's correct, right? So
Um,
normally with a car, right? Let's just say we were creating a new car, right?
Mm-hmm.
We would have BMW here, and we would have the year 2021, right? So now over here,
Yeah.
right, we would have to define the model first. So let's say it is a 3 series, right?
Mm-hmm.
We would actually have to say 3 series first, then BMW, then 2021.
Yeah.
Right. So the order in which we actually define our constructor parameters is actually fairly important. We want to make our code as readable and understandable as possible. So this probably will need to come here. So it's usually make model year, right? Make being the brand for cars. So that would allow us to define it in this way. BMW 3 Series. Now if we console.log our model, right, we will an error currently. Okay, so do you see where the error is?
Yeah. The super should be the first before we do anything.
So this should be placed
Yeah, before the
first,
constructor.
like that.
Yeah.
Okay, and there we go. Right, so brand, year, and model. And even though we've defined brand model here in this order, it'll still print out brand, year, model simply because brand and year are defined previously over here. So the order does change, right, when you are extending or inheriting a class. Okay, cool. Does the concept of inheritance make sense? Do you guys have any questions?
No questions.
No questions. Luke, the super
Um,
keyword, does it make
I'm just
sense to
having
you?
a look. Yeah, that makes sense now. I was a little in two minds there. But I'm just looking at the order of the output
Mhm.
as opposed to the order of the parameters in the constructor. I'm just having a look at that. So am I right in assuming that the superclasses parameters order will take precedence over any class that extends it?
That's correct, yes.
Cause okay, then that clears that up then.
Cool. So I'll give another example, right? Let's say we had another parameter here in the master, which is like something random, right? And we have this dot random equals random. And then over here, we also have random here and random here. And then let's say over here, random is just true or false, right? So now if we output this, what you'll see is random appears still before model because
Before model.
it is part
Yeah.
of the superclass,
Okay.
right? It's just it's a little bit of object notation. It doesn't really matter much in JavaScript because we'll get to that later on in the assessment, right? Cool. So now
Okay. All right.
what I want to do, right, is instead of saying this is a whatever car brand we want, right? I want to say the following string. Okay. So what I want is instead of returning this is a whatever this brand, I want to return the brand name, then the model name, and then the words from the year, and then the year after that. Tayalo, how would I go about doing that
Well,
with the same
I think
function?
yeah, we'd have to create the one that will override that one. So it's going to be present and then curly bracket. I mean square round bracket.
Present over here.
Yeah. And then yeah. and then return.
Return.
And can we use the template
Template
strings?
strings. Sure.
Yeah.
Makes it much
And then
easier, right?
we'd say this is a,
Yeah.
and then space, and then a dollar sign, and then curly brackets.
Space, dollar sign, curly brackets.
And then we'd say brand. Oh,
Brand.
this dot brand.
This dot brand,
And
right?
then a space out of the curly brackets,
Curly
and then
brackets space.
another dollar sign in, and yeah, curly brackets.
Curly brackets.
And then it say this dot model,
Dot model.
and then yeah, and then a space, and then from the year,
From the year.
and then dollar sign and curly brackets.
Dollar sign, curly brackets.
Yeah, I think we need a space from year,
Yeah. And
and
then
then we put this dot year.
this dot year like this.
Yeah.
Cool. So if I were to console.log our model dot present, right?
Yeah.
Luke, do you agree with the way we've done this in order to get this formatted string?
Yeah, I do.
You agree? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So let's run it and see. I need to save, don't I? Yes. Okay, so this is a BMW 3 Series from the year 2021. Okay, cool. That takes care of that. And does the concept of overriding make sense as well?
Yeah.
Any questions on the way that overriding works?
Yeah, I have a question. So essentially, we have now changed what. Does this mean that we have now changed what the Okay, no, I don't think it changes what the original present method does.
Let's test it.
It
Let's
just
test it, right? So if I were
okay.
to console.log car.present, right? What do you think would be output now, Luke, for line 27?
I think it would. Yeah, I think it would. It would still be. This is a, and then BMW. This is a BMW.
Okay. Do you agree, Diallo? That it would just
Yes.
print out this is a BMW.
Yes.
Okay. So as expected, this is a BMW gets output on line 27. And then on line 29, we see this is a BMW 3 Series from the year 2021. Right. So
Yep.
that's pretty
Okay.
cool.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right. Okay. So that takes care of that. So let's do something a little extra since we have like 5 minutes remaining. I've changed the let keyword in our first instance to a const, right? What's the implication of what I've just done for car, right? So let's take out car model, right? And we don't need car model. So Luke, what is the implication of changing car to a const?
Now that we've declared car const, um, the object that it instantiates cannot be mutated. So if we were to try and do that, so say car dot
Let's say we wanted to
car dot
change
brand,
the
or yeah,
dot brand equals brand, right? Equals, let's say, Audi here, right? You're
Audi.
saying we can't do this.
Yeah.
Tayalo, do you agree?
No, I think we can't reassign the variable car, but we can alter anything that's inside that instance.
Okay, cool. So let's run this, all right? So you can forget about presenting. I just want to call console.log car, right? So as you can see, it did actually change to Audi, right? Which means the object inside
Mm-hmm.
was actually mutated, right?
Oh yeah.
However,
Okay.
right? Let's try, for example, and do this. Instead. I just want to take this random keyword out because it's right. Look, what do you think would be output now?
It would give us an error saying that the car
Mhm.
has already been assigned, so we cannot change the we cannot assign car to a new car. Basically, we cannot
Car.
reassign that car variable. Yeah.
Cool. Tayalo, do you agree that it would output an error?
Yes.
Awesome. So, as oh wait,
Oh, that one is in the super.
Oh yeah, that one is yeah.
let's take them out over there. Right. So now we expected an error. So let's actually see the error. So as we expected, right, we are now unable to assign car to a new car, right? So this is something that comes up quite a lot, right? Whenever you're dealing with object oriented languages, right? For JavaScript specifically, right? Let's say, for example, you owned a place that sells cars, right? And you had like a website, right? Now each car obviously was assigned a particular parking space, right? So let's say this was a space one, right? And then you had another one, car space two. Right, and I'm just going to copy that. Some audio, right? So the implication of this here, right, means that, let's say, for example, someone comes in and buys this BMW, right? So car space one, that BMW that is there is now no longer there, and now you obviously have to get new cars and you sell new cars. It's like output input, right? So now you get a new car, and let's say that new car, right, is for example, VW, right? So now it's a VW, and you need to store it somewhere. So obviously, you're not gonna like build a whole new like space for that car, right? You're gonna keep recycling your car spaces, right? Unfortunately, car space one, because you've declared it as a constant, you are unable to reassign a new car entirely to that particular car space. Whereas car space two, right, you can very easily just do this and it will not error out. Does the concept make sense?
Yes.
Yep.
Cool. That is the end of the session. Do you guys have any questions? Any further questions that you'd like to ask with regards to classes and objects?
I'm okay with what we've covered today now
Cool.
from my side.
Tyler, you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
You're good. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Thanks then, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day, and good luck in the
Thank you.
future.
Have a
Thank
good
you
day
too.
too, Khalid.
See you,
Cool.
Tyler.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Bye.